Hello, everyone. This might be a little bit of a longer video. It's not a quick snippet, but I think this is really crucial. It's something that I've run into several times, probably in the last year and a half, and it was a little bit more complicated during COVID, or sort of the height of COVID, which we'll talk about in a second. But it is the Medicare Authorization to Disclose or Release Personal Health Information form. Okay, so I'm going to sort of give you a little bit of color so you can understand why this form is so crucial. Okay. In addition to a power of attorney and all the normal estate planning documents that I'm hoping you all have in place, if you plan to call Medicare to obtain any information about coverage and benefits and things like that, you need this form, and it needs to be on file with Medicare, and it actually needs to be mailed to Lawrence, Kansas, so they have it on file. Okay, so let me give you the story. I have a client. I've run into several situations. I'm going to give you the most recent because it's top of mind for me. I have a client with an aging mother. Her mother had a medical emergency come up, and there were decisions on hospitals and then rehab and overall healthcare coverage sort of came up. Like, what kind of plan does she have? My client, who is her daughter, called Medicare to obtain information, only to find out that Medicare wanted to know if she had this form on file. And she said, well, I'm my mother's power of attorney. And they said, well, that's great, but you need to have, and your mother needs to have signed this disclosure, okay, form. So during COVID, when I ran into this with a different client, it was actually his sister. In that situation, there was no visitation because of COVID. So it was even more complicated at that time, and he couldn't help her. So an important part of a financial plan, as you guys know and have heard me say 400 times, is making sure all the essential legal documents are in place. So when we say estate planning, most of you know this means your will, financial power of attorney, durable healthcare power of attorney, and a living will. An additional document that we really need to add to sort of that list is the Medicare Authorization to Disclose Personal Health Information form. Now, if you've done your planning in Pennsylvania, for example, with Guy Matthews, who I've introduced many of you to, he has done this form for any client over 65, okay? This form enables an individual, usually a spouse or an adult child, to discuss their loved one's Medicare coverage and handle claims, obtain information on a variety of issues that you will see may end up arising, okay? This becomes really important when there's a medical event and you're unable to call Medicare with that person. And there's questions that always come up on Medicare when there's a health emergency. I've been through it so many times. So a power of attorney is not sufficient, although they do want a copy of that when you fill this form out and you mail it in, okay? Only the covered person or someone designated on the above referenced document, right, which I'm including in this email, can obtain information by calling 1-800-Medicare. So you have to understand, like, if your parent or yourself, if you have an Advantage plan, the plan provider is going to have their own form. This is the Medicare form, okay? So this form allows access for a year, okay? I've run into clients using it for longer than a year, and I really haven't had an issue, but I would recommend refreshing it. So who is this video for, or who is this pertinent to? For me, I am usually running into the need for this in clients over 80. And it's usually not my clients. It's usually their parent or a sibling or a loved one who's in their mid to late 80s. But for those of you watching this video, if you know that maybe your parents are starting to get a little bit frail, physically or mentally, and they're in their late 70s, I've seen that as well. It's just typically in your mid to late 80s. So I'm going to recommend, if you've done your estate planning with someone else or you haven't done your estate planning, that you get this form in. It's really important. And I know for my clients in Kansas and Missouri who are working with a law firm that I work with, you guys also have this form already. But anyone else, this is crucial. It's something I've run into many times. If you have questions, just shoot me an email back. But I wanted to get this video out because I've been through it too many times now, not to make everyone aware of it. Okay? I'll talk to you soon.